The morning shift at the Galactic Council's Central Communications Hub started like any other day. The massive monitoring screens showed the usual flow of signals from thousands of civilizations across the galaxy. Among them, Earth's signal band had always been one of the noisiest, filled with radio waves, television broadcasts, internet traffic, and military communications. Zurl, a purple-skinned communications officer, sipped his warm beverage while watching the readings. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he noticed something odd. The signal strength from Earth's sector was dropping. He tapped his console, thinking it might be a malfunction. It wasn't. Within 3 minutes, Earth's entire signal band went dark. No radio, no broadcasts, no communications, nothing. "This can't be right," Zurl muttered, his antenna twitching nervously. He ran a diagnostic check on the monitoring systems. Everything worked perfectly. Earth had simply gone quiet. Lisa Martinez sat in her office at the Centaurian embassy when the first alert came through. As Earth's liaison officer, she had spent 5 years helping aliens understand human culture and behavior. The message on her screen made her pause. "Emergency. Total communications blackout from Earth sector. Please advise." She immediately tried to contact her family in Denver. Nothing. Her backup channels failed too. Even the quantum-encrypted diplomatic lines were dead. Lisa's heart raced as she attempted to reach the lunar base, humanity's closest outpost. Only static answered her calls. The next few hours turned into chaos. Representatives from 30 different alien species crowded the embassy's halls, demanding explanations. Some worried about their investments in Earth's technologies. Others feared a human weapon test had gone wrong. A few even suggested this might be the precursor to a human attack. Lisa watched through her office window as more ships arrived at the diplomatic station. The Arcturians, looking like tall, elegant crystalline structures, glided through the corridors. The Proximans, with their dense, dark bodies absorbing light, huddled in corners having intense discussions. Even the rarely seen Vega Collective sent a representative, their holographic form flickering with unusual patterns that indicated extreme concern. In the emergency conference room, Lisa faced the gathered ambassadors. "I understand your concerns," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "We are doing everything we can to establish contact." "When was the last known transmission from Earth?" asked Ambassador Zixtal, their bioluminescent patches pulsing with anxiety. Lisa checked her notes. The final recorded transmission came from Peter Walsh at the lunar base. He reported unusual solar activity, but his message cut off mid-sentence. The room erupted in worried whispers. The Proximan ambassador's surface rippled, a sign of deep distress. Could this be a natural phenomenon? "Unlikely," said the Vega Collective's representative, their hologram shifting to a deep red. "Our analysis shows no solar or cosmic events that could cause such a complete blackout." Lisa's personal communicator buzzed. A message from Noah Carter, Earth's representative in the Galactic Council, had somehow gotten through. It contained just 2 words: "Stay calm." She took a deep breath, remembering her diplomatic training. Humanity had surprised the galaxy many times before. Their rapid advancement from a pre-spaceflight civilization to a major galactic power had already unsettled many species. This silence felt different, though. It felt planned. Outside the station's vast windows, the stars continued their eternal dance. Somewhere out there, Earth orbited its yellow sun as it had for billions of years. But for the first time since humans had invented radio, it did so in complete silence. Lisa looked at the worried faces around her. Some species showed concern through color changes, others through scent or electrical discharges. They all shared one thing: fear of the unknown. And right now, humanity had become very unknown indeed. As the meeting continued, Lisa's thoughts drifted to her family back on Earth. Were they safe? Did they know something she didn't? The silence felt heavy with possibility. And somehow, She sensed this was just the beginning of something much bigger than anyone in the room could imagine. The Proxima Coalition's emergency chamber buzzed with nervous energy as Ambassador Zixtal called the meeting to order. The circular room, designed to accommodate representatives from every major galactic species, was filled to capacity. Floating light panels cast a soft blue glow over the gathered delegates, their worried faces illuminated in the dim light. "We face an unprecedented situation," Zixtal said, their crystalline form shifting colors from deep blue to anxious purple. "Earth's silence continues into its 6th hour. Our attempts to reach any human installation have failed." The ambassador activated a holographic display in the center of the room. It showed Earth, its moon, Mars, and various human space stations, all marked in red, indicating zero communications. Dr. Krelax, the Coalition's chief scientist, stepped forward. His insectoid features clicked as he spoke. "We've analyzed Peter Walsh's final transmission from the lunar base. Our computers detected something unusual." He played the recording. Walsh's voice crackled through the speakers. "Lunar Base Alpha to control. We're detecting strange readings from the solar monitoring equipment. The energy signatures are unlike anything we've..." "Wait. The readings are off the scale. Something's happening to our comm." The message ended in static. In the back of the room, Claire Bennett, a junior human diplomat, watched the aliens' reactions. She noticed how the Arcturians' crystal bodies vibrated with concern, how the Vega Collective's representatives flickered between different energy states. They were afraid, she realized, afraid of what humans might have done. Our deep space sensors detected no solar flares or unusual activity. Dr. Krelax continued. Whatever Commander Walsh observed, it wasn't a natural phenomenon. The Arcturian chief counselor rose, their crystalline form catching the light. "We must consider the possibility that this is deliberate." Earth's orbital defense platforms showed unusual activity patterns in the weeks before the blackout. "Our intelligence suggests they were running system-wide tests." Claire felt all eyes in the room turn to her. She stood, smoothing her diplomatic uniform. "As Earth's representative present, I understand your concerns. However, I remind the Council that humanity has always been transparent about its major technological developments." A harsh laugh came from the Regellian section. "Transparent? Like the quantum drive incident, or the gravity manipulation breakthrough. Humans have a history of surprising us with completed projects rather than works in progress." The room erupted in murmurs of agreement. Claire couldn't argue with that point. Earth had a habit of announcing technological advances only after they were fully operational. Ambassador Zixtal raised their appendages for silence. "We've dispatched scout ships to the edge of the Sol system. They report something else troubling. The automated trading stations around Jupiter's moons have been completely cleared out. All human personnel and sensitive equipment were removed days ago." A planned evacuation. The Vega Collective's avatar pulsed. They knew this was coming. Claire's communicator vibrated. Another message from Noah Carter had somehow gotten through the blackout. "Protocol Omega active. Stand firm." She remembered her briefing when she first took this position. Protocol Omega was mentioned once, with no explanation. Just that she should remain calm if she ever heard those words. The meeting continued as more reports came in. The Mars colony's defense systems were active but running on automatic. The Titan research base was empty, its data cores wiped clean. Even the civilian mining operations in the asteroid belt had gone dark. "We need answers," Zixtal declared. "I propose we send a scientific expedition to Earth. Not military. We don't want to provoke whatever is happening. But we must understand this silence." Claire watched the vote pass unanimously. She knew she should feel worried about Earth's silence. Instead, she felt a strange pride. Whatever her people had done, it had the most powerful beings in the galaxy sitting up in their seats, holding their breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. As the meeting adjourned, she looked out at the star-filled view beyond the station's windows. Somewhere out there, Earth was carrying out a plan years in the making. and she had a front-row seat to watch it unfold. 2 days into Earth's silence, the Galactic Council's observation deck filled with representatives from every spacefaring race. They watched the massive display screen showing various theories about Earth's disappearance. Some species had already started moving their military fleets away from human space, fearing an upcoming conflict. Catherine Riley sat in the Mars colony's control room, watching alien ships circle at a safe distance. As head of communications, she knew exactly why Earth had gone silent. But her orders were clear: maintain radio silence, no matter what. She smiled as another alien probe tried to scan the colony systems. The new human defense technology simply absorbed all scanning attempts, revealing nothing. "They're getting bolder," said Ryan Cooper, her security chief. He pointed to a large vessel moving closer to the colony's outer defense perimeter. "That's the third Arcturian science ship today." Catherine checked her quantum tablet, one of the few communication devices still working. The screen showed a message from Earth Command. "Hold position. Timeline unchanged. 72 hours remaining." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council's main chamber, the alien representatives shared their theories. Dr. Venka, a respected Centaurian scientist, stood before the gathered delegates. His translucent body glowed with patterns of concern as he spoke. "Our analysis suggests several possibilities," he said, gesturing to the holographic displays. "First, Earth might have suffered a catastrophic event. However, our long-range scans show the planet intact and functioning normally." The Rigelian ambassador interrupted, his scaled skin shifting colors. "What about their orbital defense platforms? Our sensors detected unusual energy patterns weeks before the blackout." Dr. Venke nodded. "Yes, the platforms showed increased activity. But here's what's interesting. They weren't powering weapons. They were upgrading their communication systems." In the back of the chamber, Ben Foster, another human diplomat, listened carefully. Like Claire Bennett, he had received the Protocol Omega message. He watched as the aliens tried to piece together a puzzle when they didn't even know what picture they were trying to create. The Vega Collective's representative spoke next, their holographic form pulsing with energy. "We've analyzed Earth's recent trading patterns. In the past month, they'd purchased massive amounts of quantum computing materials, far more than their usual orders." "Could they be building some kind of supercomputer?" asked a Proximan delegate. "Impossible," said Dr. Venka. "Even with those materials, they couldn't match our quantum processing capabilities." Ben suppressed a smile. The aliens always underestimated human creativity. Back on Mars, Catherine received another alert. An alien ship had crossed the first warning boundary. She pressed a button, activating the colony's automated defense message. A simple text broadcast in all known galactic languages. "Mars colony defense perimeter. Further approach will be considered hostile action." The alien ship immediately reversed course. They might be curious, but none of them wanted to risk a conflict with humans, especially now. In the council chamber, the debate continued. The Arcturian speaker raised an interesting point. "Remember the pattern. Humans reveal technological breakthroughs only after perfecting them. What if this silence is another breakthrough?" The chamber went quiet as the implications sank in. Earth's previous technological surprises had shifted the balance of power in the galaxy. Their faster-than-light drive design had revolutionized space travel. Their gravity manipulation technology had transformed space construction. What could this silence mean? Ben checked his quantum tablet. A new message had arrived. Phase 2 initiating. Prepare for questions. He looked around the chamber at the worried alien faces. They had good reason to be concerned. Humanity had learned long ago that the best way to protect themselves was to stay a few steps ahead of everyone else. This silence was just the latest step in that strategy. As the council meeting continued, automated sensors around the solar system detected something new. Earth's orbital platforms were drawing enormous amounts of power. Something was about to happen. The question was, what would humanity reveal this time? The scientific vessel Star Seeker, approached the edge of Earth's solar system. Its sleek, crystalline hull reflected the distant sunlight as it carried the Galactic Council's investigation team. Dr. Venka stood on the bridge, his translucent form shifting colors with excitement and anxiety. Beside him, Dr. Susan Mitchell, the only human scientist allowed on the mission, checked her instruments. "Energy readings are off the scale," Susan said, adjusting her display. "Whatever Earth is doing, it's using more power than a small sun." The alien crew members exchanged nervous glances. They had never seen such energy levels from a planetary civilization before. "Approaching Jupiter's orbit," announced the pilot, a tall Arcturian whose crystal body sparkled with nervous energy. "Strange. The automated trading stations are still operational, but they're running on some new power source we can't identify." Dr. Venko moved closer to the main viewport. The stations should have shut down without Earth's power grid connection. "How are they still running?" Susan smiled slightly but said nothing. She had her suspicions about what Earth had achieved, but her orders were clear: observe and record, but reveal nothing. The ship's sensors began picking up more unusual readings as they passed the asteroid belt. The mining operations, while silent, showed signs of recent activity. New structures had been built, their purpose unknown. "Look at this," called out the sensor operator, a proximant whose dark body rippled with concern. "The asteroids themselves. They're different. Their composition has changed somehow." Dr. Venko examined the readings. "They've been transformed at the molecular level. But that would require impossible the energy needed for such large-scale matter manipulation." "Nothing's impossible for humans," Susan said quietly. "We just haven't shown you everything yet." As they approached Mars, the ship's crew grew more tense. The Red Planet's colony, still maintaining its silence, was surrounded by a subtle distortion field that their sensors couldn't penetrate. The Starseeker's communication officer suddenly straightened in his seat, receiving automated warning from Mars colony defense systems. "We can't get closer than current orbit." Dr. Venka turned to Susan. "Your people planned this thoroughly, didn't they? Each location we check reveals new technologies we didn't know humans possessed." Susan adjusted her uniform. "We believe in being prepared." The ship continued its journey inward, collecting data at each point. The moon base, their next stop, appeared completely normal from a distance. But as they got closer, their instruments detected massive power signatures beneath its surface. "There's some kind of network," the sensor operator reported. "It connects all human installations in the solar system. But the energy patterns, they don't match any known technology." Dr. Venka's color patterns swirled with frustration. "Every discovery leads to more questions. Your species has somehow created an entirely new technological infrastructure without anyone noticing." "Almost there," Susan said, checking her personal device. "Just wait until you see Earth." As the Starseeker rounded the moon, Earth came into view. The blue planet looked the same as always, but the sensors told a different story. Enormous energy fields surrounded the planet, invisible to the naked eye, but blazing on their instruments. "By the ancient stars," whispered Dr. Venka. "The power readings, they're beyond anything we've ever recorded. How are you containing such energy?" Susan watched her homeworld with pride. "That's not the real question, Doctor. The real question is, what are we doing with all that power?" The ship's crew fell silent as they observed Earth, its mysterious energy fields pulsing with potential. They had come seeking answers but found only more mysteries. Whatever humanity had achieved, it was clear they had vastly underestimated their capabilities. And somewhere on that silent planet, the next phase of humanity's plan was about to begin. The abandoned Titan research base stood silent against Saturn's massive form in the background. Dr. Venka led his team through the empty corridors, their footsteps echoing in the darkness. Susan Mitchell walked beside him, her face illuminated by the soft glow of emergency lighting. "The base's data cores were wiped clean," said Jack Harris, the team's computer specialist. He worked at a console, his fingers moving quickly across the holographic keys. But they left something behind. A single file, heavily encrypted. Susan's heart beat faster. She knew what they would find. The time had come for revelation. "Can you decrypt it?" Dr. Venka asked, his translucent form glowing with anticipation. Jack nodded. "It's actually asking for Dr. Mitchell's authorization. They wanted us to find this." Susan stepped forward, placing her hand on the console scanner. The screen lit up with a simple message. Project Blackout. Final phase. The room's main display activated, showing Andrew Phillips, Earth's defense director. His recorded message began to play. "To the Galactic Council's investigation team. Welcome to Titan Base. If you're seeing this, Phase 1 of Project Blackout has successfully concluded. Earth's silence has caused exactly the reaction we anticipated." Dr. Venka's color patterns swirled with intense emotions as Phillips continued. "For too long, humanity has relied on outdated communication methods. Radio waves, laser signals, quantum encryption, all can be intercepted, all can be monitored. We needed something better, something impossible to tap into. Something that would give humanity true privacy in a crowded galaxy." The screen filled with technical diagrams. Susan watched the alien scientists' reactions as they began to understand. "We discovered a way to link quantum particles across infinite distances," Phillips explained. "Not just two particles, but billions, all perfectly entangled. We built a network that spans our entire solar system, allowing instant, untraceable communication between any human installations." Jack whistled softly. "That's why the asteroid belt was changed. You turned it into a quantum relay network." "Correct," Susan said. "Every human settlement, ship, and station now carries quantum-entangled particles linked to this network. We don't need traditional communications anymore. We can't be heard, because we're not making any noise to hear." Dr. Venka's form flickered with realization. "The power readings we detected, you weren't building weapons. You were powering the largest quantum network ever created." The recording continued. "We understand this revelation will cause concern. Humanity going silent means humanity can act with perfect coordination, completely hidden from outside observation. But consider this. If we wanted to use this advantage aggressively, we wouldn't be explaining it to you now." Susan walked to the window, looking out at Saturn's rings. "We don't want war or dominance. We just want privacy. The right to communicate without every species in the galaxy listening in." The alien scientists huddled around their instruments, confirming the data. The scale of human achievements slowly sank in. They hadn't just improved communications, they had revolutionized them. "The silence ends tomorrow," Phillips said in the recording. "Earth will resume normal communications for diplomatic and trade purposes. But now you know. What you hear is only what we choose to share." As the recording ended, Dr. Venka turned to Susan. "Your people planned this for years. The material purchases, the defense platform upgrades, the evacuation of sensitive locations, all to hide the creation of this network." Susan nodded. "Every human installation is now connected. Every colony, every ship, every outpost. We can coordinate instantly, anywhere in the solar system." "And beyond?" Jack asked. "The network is expanding," Susan replied. "The quantum relays in the asteroid belt. They're self-replicating, slowly building more relays, reaching further into space. Eventually, humanity will be able to communicate instantly across the entire galaxy." Dr. Venka's color patterns showed a mix of fear and admiration. The balance of power just shifted dramatically. "No," Susan corrected gently. "It shifted 5 years ago, when we first successfully tested the network. You're only learning about it now." The Galactic Council's main chamber erupted in chaos as Dr. Venka presented the findings from Titan Base. Hundreds of alien representatives talked all at once, their voices mixing with electronic communications and energy pulses from non-organic species. The massive holographic displays showed technical data about Earth's quantum network, its scale causing even the most advanced civilizations to pause in shock. Ambassador Zixtal tried to maintain order, their crystalline form flashing warning colors. "Please, we must discuss this development calmly." In the center of the chamber, Mary Thompson, Earth's Secretary of Defense, stood calmly at the speaker's podium. She had arrived unannounced just minutes earlier, her ship somehow bypassing all the Council's detection systems. "The human quantum network is not a weapon," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. "It is a tool, nothing more. We simply wish to communicate in privacy." The Regelian ambassador's scales bristled. "Privacy? You've created a system that lets you coordinate your entire civilization instantly and invisibly. How can we trust you won't use this against us?" Mary smiled. "If we wanted to use it against you, we wouldn't be standing here explaining how it works." From her seat in the observation deck, Claire Bennett watched the proceedings with interest. The aliens' reactions ranged from outright fear to reluctant admiration. The Vega Collective's representatives had shifted to their most aggressive energy state, while the Arcturians had turned completely transparent, their way of showing deep thought. "Our scientists have confirmed the network's capabilities," Dr. Venka said, addressing the Council. "It spans the entire solar system. Traditional communication methods can't detect it, and it's growing." The chamber fell silent at this last point. Mary Thompson nodded. "Yes, the network is expanding. Self-replicating quantum relays are spreading throughout nearby star systems. Eventually, humanity will have instant, private communication anywhere in the galaxy." A Proximan delegate moved forward, their dark form rippling with concern. "You're spreading this technology into our territories without permission." "Space belongs to no one," Mary replied firmly. "The relays harm nothing. They take up minimal space. They simply ensure that human ships and future colonies can stay connected." Then Foster, standing near the chamber's entrance, received a message on his quantum-linked device. He smiled at the contents. "Right on schedule." Mary continued, "As a show of good faith, Earth is preparing to resume normal communications for diplomatic and trade purposes. But understand this, what you hear from now on is what we choose to share. The quantum network gives humanity the privacy we deserve." The Arcturian chief counselor stepped forward, their crystalline body catching the light. "This changes everything. The strategic implications are exactly why we kept this secret until it was complete," Mary interrupted. "We knew some would see it as a threat. Others would try to stop its development. So we did what humanity does best. We innovated in silence and revealed our work only when it could no longer be undone." Suddenly, all the chamber's displays changed. Earth's communication channels lit up again, showing normal traffic resuming. But everyone present knew it was just the surface level, the public face of human communications. The real conversations would happen silently, invisibly, through the quantum network. Ambassador Zixtal raised their appendages for attention. "The Council must consider the implications of this development. We will need time to." "Take all the time you need," Mary said politely. "Earth will continue its normal diplomatic relations. We remain committed to peaceful cooperation with all species. We've simply added a layer of privacy to our communications." As the Council descended into heated debate, Claire watched Mary Thompson leave the chamber. The Secretary's last words hung in the air. "The silence you heard was the sound of humanity taking its next step forward. Get used to it. There will be more steps to come." 1 month after Earth's revelation, Alan Brooks stood at the window of his new office in the Galactic Council's diplomatic wing. The view of space before him hadn't changed, but everything else had. Human ships now moved freely through the busy space lanes, their quantum network giving them perfect coordination that other species could only dream about. "The Proximan Trade Federation is ready to sign the new agreements," said Sarah Wong, his assistant. She handed him a quantum tablet showing the latest diplomatic messages. "They're nervous about dealing with us, but they're more nervous about not dealing with us." Ellen nodded. The past month had seen a complete shift in how aliens treated humans. Fear had turned to cautious respect. Threats had become polite requests. The quantum network had changed the game without firing a single shot. In the Council's technology chamber, Dr. Venka led a team studying the quantum relay network. The alien scientist had become fascinated by human innovation. He watched as another self-replicating relay launched itself into deep space, heading for the galaxy's outer arms. "Remarkable," he said to Susan Mitchell, who had become a regular visitor. "Your people didn't just improve communication. You removed its limitations entirely. Distance means nothing to you now." Susan smiled. "That was the goal. Earth's colonies can spread across the galaxy, but we'll never lose touch with each other. We'll never be alone." In the main council chamber, a heated debate was underway. The Arcturian representatives' crystal form sparkled with excitement as they spoke. "We must accept reality," they said. "Humanity has proven again that they think differently than us. While we focused on weapons and shields, they made distance itself meaningless. While we worried about their military, they changed how civilization itself works." Ben Foster sat in the audience, watching the aliens finally understand what made humans special. It wasn't their weapons or their ships. It was their ability to look at problems differently, to find solutions nobody else had considered. On Mars, Catherine Riley received news that made her smile. The colony would be expanding significantly. With instant communication to Earth guaranteed, more humans were eager to move to the Red Planet. The silence had shown everyone that distance no longer meant isolation. "We've got 10 new dome requests this week," Ryan Cooper told her, checking his quantum-linked display. "Ever since the network went public, everyone wants to be part of the Mars project." Back in the council wing, Alan met with Ambassador Zixtal. The aliens' color patterns had settled into a calm blue, showing they had made peace with the new reality. "Your quantum network changes everything," Zixtal said. "But what fascinates me most is that you didn't use it to attack or threaten. You used it to connect your people." Alan looked out at the stars. "That's what humans do best. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to explore it, to grow, to stay connected no matter how far we spread." In Earth orbit, Mary Thompson watched new ships launch into space. Each carried quantum-entangled particles. Each was part of the ever-growing network. Humanity's future would spread across the stars, but it would never be divided. "Final report from the outer relays," her aide said. "The network now reaches the Carina arm. We can communicate instantly across 30,000 light years." Mary smiled. The silence had served its purpose. It had shown the galaxy that humans would always find their own path, their own solutions. The quantum network wasn't just about communication. It was about possibility. In the depths of space, another relay began to form, assembling itself from cosmic materials. Soon it would spring to life, extending humanity's invisible web of connection even further into the unknown. The stars waited, full of promise and opportunity. The silence was over, but its message would echo forever. Humanity had taken another step forward, and the galaxy would never be the same.